What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Career Mode. This one is episode 33, and we are going to waste no time today jumping straight into the first game, taking on Leipzig in the Champions League to try our hand at getting ourselves through. As I've said previous episodes countless times, this is the season that we're really going to push and try and win this Champions League title before we move away from Brighton and Hove Albion. So, you guys have heard this before, but my focus is not on the Premier League. It is solely on the Champions League. I will be trying my hardest to win the Premier League, but I will not be playing every single game as I did previously. So, at the minute, 2 wins from 2 in our Champions League group stage. Leipzig are decided in second place, and it's quite a tough group in all honesty, so I was quite intrigued to see that Leipzig were second. And of course, if we beat them here, it means we've beaten every single side currently in our group stage. Following this game, though, we've also got a game against Liverpool and a game against Manchester United as well in the Premier League. And let me just say this, it could not be a more contrasting episode today. That's all I'm going to say to you guys. So, this game got underway and we actually had a chance very early on. Ryan Sessegnon down the left-hand side puts a good cross in. Falls in the box to KDB. His shot is well saved, but it fell straight back to the path of Anthony Martial, who gives us a lead inside 4 minutes. And I'm telling you right now, I don't have a problem with this side when it comes to scoring, but the same thing keeps happening. Last season, I spoke about the fact that we struggled to defend these 1-0 leads when we get them. I feel like even though we've improved massively, 2 new centre-backs in the form of Van Dijk and Eric Bailly, we still have these momentary mistakes where we just give chances away. And I'm sincerely hoping it doesn't come back to cost us. However, this game right here, inside the 10th minute, we'd got 2-0 in front. Ndombele with a finish. I swear, I believe this side has the capability to go all the way. As I said, though, the only worry is that defensive line. I mean, here, we were 2-0 up inside 10 minutes. I've got no problems at all with these players getting up. My only issue now is that we are 2-0 in front. I wanted this clean sheet. I was like, we need to be able to defend. Don't want to concede a goal. I'll happily take a 2-0 win rather than like a 6-0 or a 6-1, sorry. Because I want this clean sheet. And tell you what, we very, very nearly conceded straight away. 7 minutes later, they hit the woodwork. And it was a good shot. And I actually saw from this angle here that Van Dijk got a touch to it. Initially, I didn't actually realise that he did until I saw that little bit afterwards. Now, just before the second half whistle, the break, I should say. Kera puts this delivery into KDB, and he smashes it in to make it 3-0. Like I said, fantastic. Yes, we're winning 3-0, but I still wanted this clean sheet. That is the main aim from this point forward. So I think I actually ended up going into team management at this stage, and I instructed Rabiot and Ndombele to stay back while attacking. You can see right there on the replay, did you see how Rabiot continued to run, but then realised and stopped himself? That was because I'd instructed him to stay back. So although he kind of got up, he would have normally burst into the box at that point. He didn't on that occasion. That was because I told him not to, because I wanted to try and keep my centre midfielders back to defend. And it just so happens that we should have gone 4-0 in front. Vinicius Jr. getting through. Got to be brutal. I'm not so sure that he is actually that good of a player. I mean, he's got bags of potential. He's going to be one of the world's best players, don't get me wrong. But for right now in this Brighton side, he's high rated, but it's just some things about him. When I look at him, and I just think to myself, there are occasions he shows why he's a top-class player. And then there are other occasions where I'm thinking he should do better. That one right there, he's through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. It is a good save by the Leipzig goalkeeper, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, the finish lacked real composure from Vinicius Jr. Maybe it's the young coming out in him. You know, he's still very young. But at the same time, he's got to finish it for me. It didn't matter in the end. We won the game by 3-0, and it was just more of a professional performance, I'd like to call it. I then decided to sim this one here against Fulham, because I came into this thinking, no worries, we're going to win this game, and we actually were made to pay. Lost it 2-1, away simming the game against a side that, yes, you know, I shouldn't really be thinking we're just going to walk over, but at the same time, the team that I named was our strongest starting 11, arguably the strongest team in the Premier League, and yet we ended up with a 2-1 defeat. So, fair play, Fulham. Made me look very, very stupid. After that, though, another one, this time in the Carabao Cup, Southend at home. Simmed it with a really weak side. We went on to win this one 5-0. Art with a double. I think Pereira might get one in the game as well. Yeah, he gets a penalty. And then I can't remember who scores the final one. Maybe Ollie Watkins or something like that. But we did go on to win it 5-0. And we do advance through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. Like I said previously, not interested at all. We've already won it. Don't care for it. Now, here's where things get very interesting indeed. A visit from Liverpool. A side who are still not doing too bad. Last season, you remember, they had a poor year. They only just clawed it back towards the back end, but they still had a really good squad. And this season, they're having a much different season. They are at the top side of the league. We're looking at their side. They've got still a decent team, but nothing that I didn't really fear. I honestly expected this for us to come here and give them one hell of a game. And that seemed to be how it was going to go. Early on, KDB found Ndombele. And I tell you what, if there's a goal that I've scored so far in this series that isn't technically as good as that, let me know. Take a look at this touch from Ndombele here. The cross comes in. It's a weak ball. It's not where I intended it to go from KDB, but I'm still not going to say too much about it. Look at that touch. Brings it down. First time left-footed volley into the bottom corner. The finish wasn't what I was interested in. It was that touch from Ndombele that really made the goal. And again, very much like we had against Leipzig, we had a phenomenal start to this game. And this is where I talk about him. Vinicius Jr. again. Back post, acres of space, time to think about it. And we got it wrong. We got it wrong. And it should have been 2-0. It wasn't. It was only the 1. Until Odriozola found Moise Kean inside the area. And he doubled our advantage. Running rampant here at the Amex inside 20 minutes. Not really sure what was going on here, because Liverpool certainly had started off very poorly. We, on the other hand, had started off flying down at both sets of wings, causing issues for the fullbacks of Liverpool. They just couldn't contain us. It was a fairly easy time, actually, crafting these chances. And this is what I don't understand sometimes. I look at this and I think these are the hardest games I'm going to play. And then it's moments of this. Jimenez and Lovren. What on earth they're trying to do there, I have no idea. But take a look at Karius. Yes, I know the memes are going to come out again from Loris Karius. But I don't get what in the first place they're trying to do, trying to play their way out the back the same way we did. We were playing with pressure, you can see. We kept them under pressure. Look at that. Passes it straight to KDB, lays it inside to Ndombele, and we're putting the ball in the back of the net, and Karius should save it. So it's moments like that I think to myself, what's happening? But then, within that happening, we go up the other end, 3-0 in front at this point. Things are going very well, wanting that clean sheet. Lallana finds a nice ball out wide towards Mo Salah. Salah comes inside on left foot. Really shouldn't have dove in like I did. I knew all he wanted to do was get it on the left. He finds a great cross in, and Mario Mandzukic pulls one back for Liverpool. So, at this point, I'm thinking, well, we were 3-0 up. Now we've given away the clean sheet. Are we going to have a crumble here? Because they started off really poorly, Liverpool, but there was just something about the game that was saying to me that they weren't done. They were going to come back at us. Mandzukic scoring that goal definitely gave me a bit of a hard time towards the back end of the first half. We came out for the second, and my plan here was to just try and really contain the game. Control the ball, don't let them in it. But then KDB has other ideas, because he just picks the ball up. Similar position to when he scored his first goal for us. I don't think there's many players in world football that would be able to do what he's done right here. He just picks it up, calmly as you like. That's why he's saying to the camera, just calm down, calm down. Yes, we lost the back end of the first half, but we're back out for the second. I mean, that right there is why we paid £125 million for Kevin De Bruyne. Because this guy is just something else. Like I said, not many players in world football that would be able to find that. Karius doesn't even move. Liverpool, who were getting a bit of momentum in the back end of that first half, have now been squandered as we go forward again. 8 minutes to play. Ryan Sessegnon now. Have a look at this. Cuts it back to the substitute, Ollie Watkins. Picks out his spot. Thank you very much. Brighton 5, Liverpool 1. Not sure how that even actually happened, to be fair. And this is what I was talking about, a stark contrast earlier. We won the first game 3-0, getting that clean sheet, dominating the game against Leipzig. We come here to the Amex, Liverpool visitors in decent form, and we've torn them apart. I mean, it didn't help their cause, conceding the 3 goals early doors and the way they conceded them as well. Especially that third goal would have certainly knocked the wind out of any side sails. You know, if you concede a goal like that, you're not going to be really up for the game after that. So I could see where it was coming from, but I was just pleasantly surprised to see that we'd taken on one of the better sides in English football and torn them apart. And you can see the match facts. Actually, there wasn't lots to separate the two sides. 7 shots to our 11, 4 on target for them to our 9. We scored 5, they only scored 1. So if you actually look at the grand scheme of things, it's not like we absolutely battered them, even though the scoreline suggests that. They were in the game, and it was quite surprising to see that. So a 5-1 win doesn't tell the whole story, and this returns me back to the point I made earlier, the contrast. Why do we have a performance like that, but then have a performance that you're about to see against Manchester United literally a game later? We faced off against Leipzig in the Champions League, simmed that one, we won it. Then we played West Brom at home in the Premier League, and we lost by 1-0. Off the back of a 5-1 win against Liverpool in the Premier League, we then had the visit of West Brom to the Amex, and we lost it by 1-0. I was fuming, to be crystal clear. So going into this one at the Theatre of Dreams, I genuinely wanted a reply. I wanted our players to come here and absolutely smash this game to pieces. We play that we did against Liverpool. I've got no doubt that's going to happen. Van Dijk, early doors, put a bullet header goalwards, which was somehow cleared off the line from Manchester United. Not sure how that was actually it. And I was feeling really confident. I was thinking to myself, let's do this. We've already beaten Liverpool. We've beaten Leipzig. We're going to smash Man United. But then, they'd come here with a game plan. And that game plan at home was to absorb pressure and try and catch us on the counter. They very nearly did it. And you'll see right there, advantage was played by the referee. This pays dividends. Sessegnon accidentally took out one of the Manchester United players after the ball had been left his feet for the cross. We move into the second half. He was booked for that challenge. Then he goes in again in the second half. I've got no doubts about this one. This is a booking, okay? I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that, you know, this isn't a booking, because it certainly is. It's the first one. The first one for me that he actually gets booked for is not a booking. These were two very, very harsh yellow cards, right? I wasn't playing good at this point. It was nowhere near the performance level that it was against Liverpool. I was getting kind of frustrated with the boys, thinking to myself, we need to pull something out of the bag here. And then to pick up the second yellow card to Sessegnon and get a red, that kind of knocked the wind out of our sails a lot. From that point forward, I just don't know what happened. Rodri here in the centre of the pitch finds Alexis Sanchez. And Man United, who'd been out of the game for large parts of it, had actually got themselves ahead. I mean, I can't complain because we weren't good. We weren't good enough to win the game. It's not like we performed unbelievably and actually smashed them. But at the same time, to go 1-0 down like that really, really did hurt. Especially being down to 10 men, I felt was very harsh. You know, pundits at this point will be talking about the effect that playing at home for Manchester United has. All of that kind of thing. But I was just sat there thinking to myself, I can't believe we're going to lose this, potentially. Martial against his former club tried to get us on the front foot. We're down to 10. It falls to KDB, and I'm thinking, please just put the ball in. And he lashes at the header. It's straight at David De Gea, and my day could not get any worse than this at this point. I don't understand how we absolutely tore Liverpool to bits, and yet then we lose to West Brom. We lose potentially to Man United as Frank Brown is forced into an unbelievable save. And I really, really, really firmly believe that this is going to be a very tough Premier League season. I spoke about it. I'm not sure we're going to win it. Even with a better side than we had when we first won it, I just don't know what it is. The sides around us, the teams that weren't performing, as Vinicius Jr. should have given us at least a point. Going back to that, I'll talk about that in a minute. The sides around us, the likes of Liverpool, for example, who were struggling last season, Spurs, Man United, Man City, Chelsea, all these teams this season are having a good season. It's very close at the top this year, whereas it wasn't really last season. That game against Liverpool, I can assure you right now, when we take them on at Anfield, we will not beat them 5-1. That will be a tough game. They will play extremely well. I was very surprised to see them lose that game 5-1. We've then been taken back down to earth with defeats against West Brom and Manchester United. So it's a very, very tough time right now because that actually doesn't keep us really well. We're in the top 4 still, but we're not top, and we're quite a way off the top spot. I'll show you it right now as it pops up on your screen. But like I said, Vinicius Jr. should have scored that chance he had late on. He got the first volley wrong against Leipzig. Same situation against Man United, and he put it over the bar as well. So I don't really know what to make of that. But right now we're 6 points off of Spurs, 3 off of Man United, 3 off of Leicester, and you can see the teams around us, man. It's very, very close. But that's going to be it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, a like would be greatly appreciated. I will see you all again tonight at 6 PM with another video, hopefully. Until then, though, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Catch you all then. Adios.